What's up, everybody? It's the one and only Mr. T. Dot, and I'm going to talk about a very, touchy subject that's been on the minds of a lot of people, been on the minds of the media, minds of social media, and it's been probably the number one subject discussed all around the world. So, I'll start things off by saying that our newly elected Prime Minister, by the way, I did vote for him. I did vote Liberal. And I know people are going to urinate on that. Fine, do it. Doesn't matter to me. I have my reasons for doing what I did. And he's planning to bring 25,000 refugees into Canada. Now, if I remember correctly, we've been a nation that likes to help people out. I'm not sure on the level of the United States, but I do know that this country has an open door policy to bring other people from other countries in so they can have a better life. But they can also be themselves. You know, we're all Canadians, but we all are different from different places in the world. I, myself, come from two different backgrounds. I'm not going to say what it is, but for those of you who know me, you know where I come from. However, with the stuff that's been going on in the Middle East, especially in Syria, and how the Muslim community, some people have been getting, disturbing to hear about a woman getting attacked while she's picking her kids up at school by two guys who are ignoramuses, and they're perpetrating some kind of racial slurs upon her while beating her at the same time and trying to take her niqab off. You know, that's not the way Canadians roll as far as I'm concerned. And recently hearing about on the TTC, some women were assaulted as well. Three people who are of the Muslim faith got assaulted on the subway. I could be wrong. That's what I saw on the news, but I could be wrong. But I do know that on the TTC, 3 people did get assaulted, and also on the GO train, people were spray painted on the GO train. But what really got me was not just in Kitchener, but in Peterborough, a mosque was damaged by fire. And this is, the whole Paris thing that happened and the stuff that happened in Lebanon and all around the world. All these attacks have been perpetrated by the terrorists. The Muslim faith, or I should say the Islam community, has been persecuted. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I am not Muslim by any means. I don't practice any religion whatsoever. Those of you who know me, call me an atheist, but I am just me. But I've had the pleasure of getting to know people who do practice the Islam faith, who are practicing Muslims, and I've had the pleasure of working with them as well. And these are good people. These are actually, I'd say, sorry to say, great people. And one of my jobs I had, and one of my number of jobs I had, I managed a building where half the building were practicing Muslims. They're from the Middle East. And these are good people. Got families, raising families, making a better life for themselves, doing the thing, if you will. And they're the ones getting persecuted by ignoramuses in the city, which I'm appalled by, because one of the reasons why I moved to the city is because of the diversity that it has. The place I used to live in, Ottawa, didn't have that much. It has a little bit more than before. I've been in Toronto for about 14 years. And I was in Ottawa for 17 years. And I could give you, tidbits of my past that may shock you or whatever about Ottawa and whatever. And I don't hate Ottawa by any means, because I've had a lot of good times. I got a lot of friends there. But let's just say there are a lot of times where I wish I was actually here instead of being in Ottawa. But that's my thing. So that's another story to be told at another time. But let me just say this. These ignoramuses who have been perpetrating these attacks or vandalism or racial slurs, as far as I'm concerned, y'all should be put in jail for it. I mean, I don't know why you're doing this because it's got nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with them. The guys who are perpetrating all the terrorism that's been going on, these are a bunch of jackholes, as far as I'm concerned, taking a faith that has nothing to do with violence and turning it in their own twisted way, and then trying to come into our country and destroy our way of life, telling them how we're supposed to live. And there's even people saying we shouldn't bring 25,000 people into this country from Syria who have suffered enough, not just from the terrorism from ISIS, but from the current government that's going on right now. Okay, well, for me, this is how I do things. I know that any day it could happen. We could be the victims of a terrorist attack. It could happen anywhere. No one is immune. Nothing is immune. That's the bottom line, period. That's what it is. But the difference between that and how we're supposed to be doing things is this. I get up in the morning, I go to work, I do my job, I come home, I do my thing with music and DJing and all that stuff, and I live my life. I'm not going to let them live my life. I'm not going to let them tell me how to do my things. And I know a lot of people do that every day here in Toronto. So we keep living. That's what we do. And yes, it may take one person that slips through the cracks of all the security checks and everything from Syria to cause one mess. But guess what? Somebody right now, and I'm not trying to put the propaganda or the fear-mongering into you, but it could happen. One person right now who's in this country could decide to perpetrate an attack anywhere in this city or any Canadian city or in any American city. But you should also realize one thing. Have you guys been through Pearson Airport as of late? Because I have. And let's just say, when it comes to security, it's tight. It's real tight, and for me it's kind of frustrating because here I am trying to go through whatever. They actually told me to go through the metal detector 3 times for no reason. But that's the job, you know. So if you haven't been through Pearson Airport, our airports have very strict guidelines of what we're supposed to bring, what we're not supposed to bring, what we're supposed to do, and all. It's just crazy, which is one of the reasons why I don't like flying. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep living. Now, if our illustrious Prime Minister can bring 25,000 Syrian refugees into this country by year's end, booyah. Great. But at the same time, there is that concern that we should be making sure that not one of these guys is going to come in and do our thing. But like I said, an attack can happen at any point. It could happen tomorrow. So like I said, some of you may not agree with what I say. Cool. Now all you got to do, leave comments below and say, hey, or urinate on it. I don't really care. But I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. You know what they say? Straight from the heart and shoot from the hip. That's what I do. So, with that being said, all I got to say is, first thing we need to do is we need to live our lives. Live the life. Do your thing, as I would say. And second thing we need to do is we need to stop having all this fear-mongering from the media. Don't listen to what the mainstream media tells you, because they've been urinating on Islam for the longest time. So from me to you guys, do your thing. That's all you got to do. Do your thing. Go about your lives. Go about making your money, doing your job, doing doing your passion, and all them things. Do all that. Once you do all that stuff, you'll be alright. And let the government do what they do best. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to trust in our government to do the right thing. Because let me tell you something. If it wasn't for our current Constitution, my dad wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be here. And that is a fact, folks. Period. And you know who you can thank for that? Our current Prime Minister's father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. That's just what it is. And there would be a lot of other people who are my friends whose parents wouldn't be here as well if it wasn't for Pierre Elliott Trudeau. You may not agree with it, but you know what? I'm here. And I never say this because I was born in this country. I'm a proud Canadian, even though I don't show it all the time. But I'm here because I love this country, and I especially love the city. So guess what? I'm going to trust in our government to do the right thing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not saying everyone should do it, but I'm going to do it. So, on this subject, and bring whatever comments, negative and positive, you agree, you don't agree, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. And like I said, do your thing, live your life, and please practice tolerance and respect. 2 things my parents taught me. Practice both. You'll thank me for it. You'll thank Mr. T-Dot for it if you do. Yeah, that's what it's all about. But until then, I get to sign off. And this is Mr. T-Dot saying peace in HD. Because if I tried it with the other camera, it'd just look really bad. Peace in HD, and I'll see you later.